The campaign in North Africa was one of the more difficult areas of operation during World War II. The terrain, weather and distances covered meant it was a grueling fight for both sides. One such battle in particular would prove this. In this video, we look at the initial Battle of Tobruk and the subsequent Allied victory to capture it. The British had formed the Middle East Command in August 1939, shortly before the beginning of World War II. Within this were British and Commonwealth troops in Cyprus, Egypt, Kenya, Palestine and Sudan. Once the war began, it was noted that this command was particularly under strength. It consisted of only 21 infantry battalions and 64 field guns. Bolstering the command became a priority, and reinforcements would come from other Commonwealth countries, such as Australia, India, Malta, Mauritius, New Zealand, Rhodesia, and South Africa. By June 1940, Italy had well and truly aligned itself with Germany, and subsequently declared war on Britain and France. This would trigger the fighting in the Middle East and North Africa. At that time, there were about 215,000 Italian troops in Libya and 200,000 in East Africa. After an initial victory over the Italians at the Battle of Bardia, the next target would be the city of Tobruk. This was of strategic importance to the region. Tobruk, situated along the coast of Libya, was the only major port in the area, so obtaining supplies and reinforcements through that port was vital to any army mounting actions within the surrounding landscape. Because of this, the Italians, who were already occupying the city, fortified it considerably and prepared for its inevitable defence. On the 6th of January 1941, the 6th Australian Division and 7th Armoured Division made contact with the Italians in Tobruk. In the preceding weeks, Allied forces moved into position around Tobruk, and on the night of the 20th of January 1941, Tobruk was attacked on all sides. The Royal Navy began a bombardment of the port from the Mediterranean Sea. RAF aircraft would bomb it from the air, whilst an artillery bombardment would shell the city from the land. Under the cover of this bombardment, 4 armoured brigades moved into assault positions. British troops began to clear a path through the minefields which surrounded Tobruk. Just prior to the assault, the weather turned and severe sandstorms moved in. This would halt the actions until first light on the 21st of January. The attack was led by the Australian 2nd and 3rd Infantry Battalions, who broke through the Italian defences. Through this gap in the defences, more and more Allied troops and armoured vehicles entered the city, and by the end of the day, half of Tobruk had been captured. During the night, Allied troops could see and hear numerous fires and explosions in the city. This was the Italian engineers demolishing stores of weaponry, parts of the port, and various other installations. The following morning, on the 22nd of January, the second attack began, with the Italians fighting on until around 4 p.m, when the last of their fortified positions surrendered to the Allies. In the vicinity of 30,000 Italian prisoners were taken. Some 236 large caliber guns were captured, as well as about 87 tanks and transport vehicles. The city of Tobruk was now in Allied hands. The capture of Tobruk was an important early victory for Allied forces in the region, but this wouldn't be the end of the fighting for the city. In part 2, we look at the siege of Tobruk and the terrible conditions faced by the Allied soldiers trapped inside. What are your thoughts on the capture of Tobruk? Do you think the Italian forces could have made a more concerted defence of the city? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section down below. As always guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to expand your knowledge and join the growing Premier History community.